Like, these animators are on shaky ground.
Yes, correct.
What happened with the actor strike? Did they settle that? Is that over?
This is Rachel Zegler. Her incredibly off-putting personality is not the only thing you will get out of Rachel Zegler while talking to her. She will remind you that she hates Snow White.
Like these animators are on shaky ground, yes, correct. What happened with the actor strike? Did they settle that? Is that over? This is Rachel Zegler. Her incredibly off-putting personality is not the only thing you will get out of Rachel Zegler while talking to her. She will remind you that she hates Snow White. Rachel Zegler, the controversial lead of Disney's Snow White remake, has recently added fuel to the fire by making a bold political statement supporting Free Palestine. This move has left Disney executives panicking, fearing that the backlash could escalate into a full-blown boycott of the movie. And honestly, it looks like their fears are warranted. After all, you reap what you sow, and Disney seems to be getting a bitter taste of its own medicine. The drama surrounding Rachel Zegler and Disney has reached a fever pitch, and even Joe Rogan couldn't resist weighing in on the chaos. Yes, you heard that right. Joe Rogan, known for discussing everything from UFC fights to alien conspiracies, has now turned his attention to Snow White. But before we dive into his take, let's rewind and break down how we got here. It all started back in August 2024, when Disney released the first teaser for Snow White on YouTube. What should have been a moment of excitement quickly turned into an unmitigated disaster. Within weeks, the teaser became the most disliked movie trailer in YouTube's history, amassing nearly 1 million dislikes compared to just 68,000 likes within the first 24 hours alone. The video had racked up 193,000 dislikes, leaving Disney with a PR crisis of epic proportions, and the comments, they were nothing short of brutal. One user mocked, "I came here purely because I saw on Facebook that this video has over 1 million downvotes, and I really wanted to be a part of that community." Another wrote, "Wow, Disney, you truly are incredible. It took you 3 years, multiple rewrites, unnecessary CGI, and $29 million just for me to enjoy the comment section of a movie I'll never watch. Bless you." The sentiment was clear. Fans were angry, disillusioned, and ready to make their voices heard. So what went so catastrophically wrong? Fans point to a combination of questionable casting decisions and baffling creative choices. Instead of the beloved Seven Dwarfs, Disney initially planned to feature a group of diverse magical creatures, a move that backfired spectacularly when actors with dwarfism called out the studio for excluding them. In an attempt to salvage the situation, Disney pivoted to CGI characters, but the results were lifeless and awkward, leaving fans wondering how a live-action remake could feel less authentic than the animated original. But the controversy didn't stop there. At the heart of this storm is Rachel Zegler, cast as Snow White herself. While her casting initially sparked cautious optimism, her comments about the original 1937 classic ignited a firestorm. During a resurfaced interview, Zegler dismissed the original as extremely dated and criticized its romance, calling it creepy and weird. Her words hit a nerve with fans who grew up cherishing the timeless tale, and her dismissive tone only added fuel to the fire. "I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?" "I mean, you know that the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story, with a guy who literally stalks her, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be." Fans interpreted these remarks as disrespectful not only to the original creators but also to the generations who grew up with Snow White as a cherished part of their childhood. Disney, rather than distancing itself from Zegler's comments, seemed to double down, allowing her critiques to go unchallenged, a decision that alienated even their most loyal supporters. In an effort to repair the damage, Disney sent Zegler on a press tour to promote the film. However, her attempts to backtrack came across as insincere. Fans weren't convinced by her sudden praise for the project, especially after her earlier viral critiques. To make matters worse, her portrayal of Snow White and promotional material seemed worlds away from the kind-hearted princess audiences adored. Instead, Zegler's version appeared brash and condescending, leaving fans questioning why Disney had strayed so far from the original character's charm. And then another bombshell dropped. In a recently resurfaced 2022 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Zegler admitted that as a child the animated classic had scared her so much she avoided it for over a decade. She described the film as extremely dated in its portrayal of women and claimed the remake would redefine the phrase "fairest of them all" to focus on justice rather than beauty. While some saw this as a modern twist, others viewed it as yet another attempt to undermine the legacy of the original. TikTok was soon flooded with backlash, with users comparing Zegler's comments to those of Halle Bailey. The star of Disney's The Little Mermaid, Bailey, had celebrated the original story while embracing her role, earning praise for her respectful approach. In contrast, Zegler's dismissive attitude felt like a rejection of the original's magic. One viral comment summed up the sentiment: "This is Rachel Zegler. Her incredibly off-putting personality is not the only thing you will get out of Rachel Zegler. While talking to her, she will remind you that she hates Snow White." Disney found a way to cast someone for Snow White whose entire personality on a marketing tour is "I hate Snow White." The negativity surrounding Zegler's remarks has led many to question why Disney would cast someone who seemed to openly dislike the original story. Fans are now asking, how can someone who didn't appreciate Snow White as a child and still seems to harbor reservations successfully embody one of Disney's most iconic characters? But this storm isn't just about Zegler's comments. It's about what Disney's missteps say about their approach to reimagining classic stories. The fallout has been massive, and as Joe Rogan recently put it like, "These animators are on shaky ground." Yes, that's correct. What happened with the actor strike? Did they settle that? Is that over? She didn't stop there. Zegler framed herself as a victim of relentless online harassment, portraying her experience as an unfortunate consequence of being in the spotlight. She argued that being an actor automatically subjects her to constant public scrutiny no matter what she says or does. "I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities one have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats," she lamented. But it seems Rachel Zegler totally forgot her own words, because she's back in the hot seat once again. Like clockwork, she's been stirring up controversy after controversy every few weeks. She says or does something that reignites the outrage, making the upcoming Snow White film seem like an inevitable disaster. Not long ago, Zegler took to Instagram to voice her outrage following a political upset she was clearly passionate about. She admitted to being heartbroken over Donald Trump's election win against Vice President Kamala Harris, expressing sentiments that alienated a significant portion of the public in a now-deleted Instagram story. She added, "I am speechless and heartbroken." She wrote, "I hope Trump voters, Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke in fear this morning." This didn't sit well with critics, who labeled her comments as unhinged and even called her a liability for Disney. Some demanded the studio permanently shelf Snow White and distance itself from Zegler, claiming her involvement was toxic to the brand. Instead of backing down, Zegler doubled down in a follow-up post. She called the election results a symptom of a deep sickness in the United States, and criticized those who supported Trump as subscribing to a foolish sense of security, masculinity and intelligence. Adding to the tension, she didn't hesitate to call out Elon Musk for his perceived role in the election, urging her followers to leave Twitter or X entirely, get off Elon's app. She implored. This sparked further debate, with critics accusing her of being over the top and alienating even moderate audiences. Of course, Zegler's controversies aren't limited to her political views. Take, for instance, her infamous dramatic reading of Britney Spears' tweets during the pop star's public feud with her sister Jamlyn Spears. While Zegler likely intended it as lighthearted, fans of Britney found it tone-deaf given the gravity of the Free Britney movement. And let's not forget her very public grievance about not being invited to the 2022 Academy Awards despite starring in West Side Story, a film that earned 7 nominations including Best Picture. While some sympathized, others found her social media outburst unprofessional, noting that many actors in similar situations handle such matters more gracefully. Now, with all of these moments stacked against her, Zegler remains a polarizing figure. Fans and critics alike are left wondering if Disney will ultimately cut ties with the actress or if the company will weather the storm and proceed as planned. Speaking of Disney, the company's efforts to mitigate the Snow White drama continue to backfire. Recently, they released a new trailer only to pull it down shortly after its debut. The original trailer garnered over 1.4 million dislikes, and the company may have been trying to avoid another wave of backlash. However, the decision to yank the new teaser sparked its own round of speculation, adding fuel to the fire. Leaked set photos from 2022 revealed a controversial reimagining of the Seven Dwarfs instead of the traditional portrayal by actors. Dwarfism. Disney opted for a diverse group of PE